The quiet suburban street had never seen drama like this before. Neatly trimmed lawns stretched on both sides of the road, pastel-colored houses standing calmly under the afternoon sun. Birds chirped, and somewhere in the distance, a dog barked lazily. It was the kind of place where nothing ever went wrong, or so everyone believed. But that peace shattered the moment Emily Carter stormed out of her house. Her heels clicked sharply against the pavement as she marched toward the dark green vehicle parked near her driveway. Her face was flushed with anger, blonde curls bouncing as she moved. To her, this wasn't just a car, it was a problem, an insult, and the final straw on a very bad day. The vehicle looked unusual for the neighborhood. Big tires, heavy build, official markings on the side that most people wouldn't dare ignore. But Emily wasn't in the mood to read labels or think twice. Standing casually beside the vehicle was a man in a simple olive green t-shirt and khaki pants. His arms were crossed, his posture relaxed, almost annoyingly calm. He looked more like someone enjoying a break than a person involved in official business. Emily stopped a few feet away and pointed straight at him. "Move this car, now," she shouted, her voice echoing across the lawns. The man didn't react immediately. He didn't argue. He didn't apologize. He simply looked at her, calm, steady, unreadable. Behind him, a few steps away, two uniformed officers stood quietly near a white fence. They weren't intervening. They were watching, waiting. Emily didn't notice them at first. "You can't just park wherever you want," she continued angrily. "This is a private neighborhood. You're blocking access, and I will call the authorities if you don't listen." The man finally shifted his weight slightly, still leaning against the vehicle. His expression remained neutral, but there was something confident about him, something that didn't match the situation at all. Around them, curtains in nearby houses twitched. Neighbors sensed tension and quietly observed from windows and porches. Even the golden dog sitting on the grass nearby seemed alert, ears raised, as if it knew something big was about to happen. Emily crossed her arms now, breathing heavily, convinced she was in the right. She had no idea that this confrontation, this one moment of anger, was about to change everything. And she definitely didn't know who she was really talking to. Emily's patience was running out. "Did you hear me?" she snapped, taking a step closer. "I said move the car. You don't get special treatment just because you think you look important." The man finally uncrossed his arms. Slowly, calmly. His movements were deliberate, as if he had all the time in the world. He glanced briefly at the vehicle beside him, then back at Emily. "Ma'am," he said in a steady voice, "there's no need to shout." That single sentence only fueled her anger. "Oh, don't tell me how to talk," Emily fired back. "People like you always think rules don't apply to them. I pay taxes, I live here, and I'm not going to be disrespected in my own neighborhood." Still, he didn't raise his voice. He didn't threaten. He didn't even look annoyed. Behind them, the two officers exchanged a quick look. One, in a direction Emily never expected. One of the officers behind the man took a step forward. His boots made a soft crunch against the gravel, but the sound was loud enough to break the tension. Emily finally noticed them, two uniformed officers standing alert, eyes focused, expression serious. Her voice faltered for just a second. "And who are they?" she asked sharply, though the confidence in her tone had begun to crack. The man turned his head slightly, acknowledging the officers with a brief nod. Then he looked back at Emily. "They're here with me," he said. That was all. Emily laughed nervously. "With you? For what? Intimidation? Because it's not working." The officer who had stepped forward cleared his throat. "Ma'am," he said politely but firmly, "this vehicle is authorized to be here." Emily's smile vanished. "Authorized," she repeated. "By who? This is a residential street." The man straightened up now, no longer leaning on the vehicle. For the first time, his calm presence felt powerful. He reached into his pocket, not suddenly, not aggressively, and pulled out an identification badge. He didn't shove it in her face. He simply held it up long enough for her to see the seal. Emily's eyes widened. The words on the badge didn't fully register at first, but the emblem did. It was official, federal. Her mouth opened, but no sound came out. "I'm supervising an ongoing operation," the man said evenly. "Your driveway access isn't blocked. And no laws are being violated." The street felt suddenly very quiet. Emily glanced around. Neighbors were openly watching now. The dog sat completely still. Even the breeze seemed to pause. I didn't know," she muttered, her anger draining into embarrassment. The officer stepped back into place. The man lowered his badge. I understand frustration, he continued. But shouting first and listening later usually leads to regret. Emily felt her face burn. She had walked out ready to dominate a stranger. Instead, she was standing in front of someone who held authority far beyond what she imagined. And this still wasn't the end. Emily stood frozen for a moment, her thoughts racing faster than her heartbeat. The anger that had fueled her steps just minutes ago was now replaced with a heavy sense of regret. She lowered her gaze, avoiding the man's calm eyes. I'm sorry, she said quietly. I shouldn't have assumed. The man nodded, not in victory, but in understanding. Apology accepted, he replied. We all have bad days. What matters is how we handle them. One of the officers relaxed his stance, and the tension in the air slowly dissolved. The neighborhood seemed to breathe again. Curtains slid shut. The dog lay back down on the grass, its moment of excitement over. Emily stepped back toward her house, her confidence humbled but her lesson learned. She realized how close she had come to making a fool of herself, not because she spoke up, but because she spoke without knowing the truth. As she turned away, the man glanced once more at the vehicle, then at his team. Their work continued, quietly and professionally, just as it had before the shouting began. That evening, as Emily watched the sunset from her porch, she replayed the moment in her mind. She understood now that respect isn't demanded, it's given. And assumptions, when mixed with anger, can blind even the most reasonable people. Moral of the story: never judge or react in anger without understanding the full situation.